Okay, nice. Welcome everyone. Today, inshallah, we'll discuss some CSS basic fundamentals that you have to know. There is no required knowledge about CSS or HTML. This is totally beginner. So feel free to start with me, work with me. I will go step by step. Any questions, please let me know, and we discuss here whatever you want. So let's see, it's called intro CSS. Okay. Yeah, let's start. If you are guys ready, tell me, so we can start. We are super ready. Okay. So I will here start by creating a new file. Okay. Okay, everyone is ready? Okay, yeah, let's start. Okay, so what I want to start is, let's start. Okay, so we'll discuss now some CSS styling rule and cascading rules, introduction to selectors, and much more. So I will just create a file. Let me, index HTML for now. Okay, so now let's just do some basic stuff. Okay, so I don't want all of that, so that you don't bother with much in the screen. You don't want title. Okay, so our basic thing that we have HTML tag we discussed before, and we have two tags inside, head and body. Okay, so we discussed before that the body, we use it to include everything that we want to display in our web page. And let's start by basic stuff. So I will use just in the head this time the style tag. We use this tag to add our styling to the HTML elements in the body. Okay, so let's create an element in the body. Okay, can you guys see the code clearly, or should I maximize, make it bigger? Make it bigger. 30, for example. Okay. That's clear. Okay. Okay, so let's add some element to style in our. Okay, that's good. In our style. So let me add some division. Hello world. Okay. Let me bring this live. Okay. So as you can see here, this is our page. Okay. Okay, so now let me explain. Division here, div here stands for division. It's a tag name. We will see it a lot. You'll use it a lot building websites. So basically, I wrote here hello world. It's here. Can you see it now? Okay, great. Okay, so what we are here to say is play with this style tag. So let's try something that we want to these words. Okay, so how we style or how to apply format on this specific element, we use normally the element tag. The element tag is here, the division. You see it here. This is the okay. This is basically the starting tag. We discussed it before, but let me say it again. And this is the ending tag, so that it knows that everything inside is an division element. So how to style the division element? Simply, we just write and open curly brackets. Okay, let me make it here, okay? So now everything that we write here inside the division, it will be applied to this word. So let's try. For example, the background color to be light blue, okay? Let me save. You'll see here the background changes. Maybe if I want to change the text color, we use the color property, okay? Make it white. Okay, so you'll see here it's totally working every single time. So so you will notice here some patterns. You will see here in the styling we include property name. This is called property called background color. Okay, followed by a column, and then the color that you want, semicolon. That's the basic structure. You'll notice it here: property name, column, and your value. Okay. So yeah, it's really simple. You just have to know how to write, like the property name first, then column, then the value that you want, and semicolon. We have many properties in CSS. You should check them out. We'll here I'll discuss some different properties for you, and you have to search for them. We included some resources in the past sessions, and if you want them, we can share it again. But let's finish quickly here. What I was trying to say is, yeah, we changed the background color. We changed the color. Okay, so let's talk about what's built into the name CSS and discuss cascading nature of style sheets. So now here, as you can see, we know some the CSS rules. This is CSS rule. This one by its own is rule. This is a CSS rule as well. See what I mean by cascading style or cascading rules. So you'll see it here. Yeah, you'll see it here. Let's do another thing. Yeah. Okay. So now here I'm empty file again. Okay. Let me add another tag called h1. If you remember, guys, it's for headings. We use the h1 here. Whatever you write inside here, it will be a heading. You'll see here. If I write title, you'll see it very big. So it will be formatted in a heading format. So yeah, we discussed the tags before, so I will not go through them unless if you have any questions, of course. I can explain it. I'll be happy to explain. So yeah, so what we said, yeah, h1, I put here a word called title. Okay, you'll see here. I want, for example, to see, for example, if you can see here the body tag. If we set, how can I style the body tag? Simple, by its name, body, and open curly brackets. I want you to notice here, if I change the background color to yeah, let's make it gray. Okay, let me save. I'll make it darker. So now, what you notice here, the background color changes, of course, and also h1, the title, also take the same background color as the body, although I didn't set background to h1. So it's automatically taking the same background color. We call it inheritance. It's a really great topic. Yeah, so the body here, yeah, it's changed the all beige color, background color, because as we said, the body tag here is simply my whole screen, all web page here. Okay, so I set the background here. Let me see here if I want to change the background color for my heading here. Okay. What I should do? What I should do, guys? I'll use also the background color. Okay, and make it white, for example. You'll see here, it's changed now. This is my heading here. Okay, so you have to add your background color for it. But actually, the inheritance part is really important topic. It will make it easier for you in the styling. I'll discuss it here, but let me just explain something before we go to the inheritance. So as you can see here, I changed the background color easily here for my H1. Okay, so another thing in the cascading rules is that let me put it in that way. So let's remove this. Okay, we save. Okay, so if I want to do the same thing, change the color, okay, of my H1 to be light blue again. Okay, you'll see here the color here changes the text. Okay, what do you guys think if I do this? If I go down here and also add H1 and change the color to make it, for example, light gray. What do you think will happen when I save? The color will be light blue or light gray? What do you guys think? Let's see. I think light gray. Okay, great. So let's test that out. When I save, you'll see here, as Ala said, it's changed. Why here? Let's see. Because the cascading nature here is if there's two rules the same, okay, whatever rule the browser encounters last, okay, it will win. Okay, we discussed before, but let me say it again. As the cascading nature of the style sheets, whatever rule the browser encounters last, it will be applied and it will win and it will override it. Okay, so that's one rule you have to keep in mind. Okay, so whatever selectors comes last, its rule will win. So let's bring us something called specificity. Let's discuss that now. Okay, so in the specificity, let's see here. Yeah. Okay. So now styling here. Okay, and same. I will do it here. Same in the H1. Okay. In the specificity, we can let's use class names. If I add a class name to my H1, okay, I call it heading, for example. You can call class names in any different names you want, but I will call it here heading. Okay, so I give this H1 a class name called heading. Okay, and you can work also in the styling, but adding a dot or a period before the class name so that the browser knows that you are searching about a class name called the heading by using this dot right here. If I remove the dot, search about a tag called the heading, which is not there, so it will bring you error. If you are searching about class names, you have to put the period before it. Okay, and I can do the same styling that we did last time every single time. Okay. So what I want to say here, what do you guys think if I add here this code? Font color, okay, and make it. What do you guys think will happen? The color of the H1 will be blue or gray? Okay, Maram said gray. Okay, okay. So let's us see here. When I save, okay, you'll see here nothing changed. Why? Because class names here are more specific than tag names. Let me say it in another way. The class attribute is considered more specific than the element, than its tag, and you can simply think of it that the element tag here, this one H2 here, okay, and it generally describes what this element is, okay, and what its purpose. Okay, so it is a heading. Okay, its purpose is the main heading of my page, for example. So this H1 here identify its name and its purpose, okay? But the class names here maybe giving more specific details and specific information about this element, okay? So you can think about it, yeah, okay, that's great. Okay, so you think about that class names here is more specific. So here the browser what will do, it will apply the styling to each ones. It will be the color gray, and everything that has class heading, whether it's each one, it's division, it's everything that has the class name heading, it will override this rule and apply this color to it. Do you guys? Yep, great. Okay, that's great. Okay, that's nice. Okay, so yeah, let's go now to discuss more about the inheritance. Okay, inheritance, that is this. We don't have to create another file. Let's do it here. So if I have my title here, let me remove the class name. Okay, I have my title here, and okay. So now let's change my body tag structure so that I can explain the inheritance. So I'll add here inside the body tag a division. I'll put inside the main, I'll put my title here, inside my main, and let me close the tag. Okay, so now I have my body. It has one element called the main. Okay, and inside the main it has one element called H1. You'll see here when I save, you'll see here the structure didn't is not different. So these things here to organize your work. I'm not going here to talk about them. We here are going to talk about the styling. Okay, maybe I will. If you guys want at the end, we can discuss this. The purpose of the division, for example, what division do, what mean does, what each one does. But remind me at the end when I finish, if you want, of course. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So now here I have a body and main and each one. Okay. Let's and change my body background color and make it background color. Okay. And make it this color, for example. Okay, you'll see here the color changes. Okay, so let's what I was going to say. Yeah, let's do some stuff on the main as well. Okay, so if we change the background color for the main, you'll see the change here. Make it yeah, more darker so you can see it. Okay, so this is my main, everything highlighted in gray. So this is my main. Okay, so as we discussed before, the colors are automatically inherited by children. So when I set the body background color to be white, or yeah, the main took the same color as well as the H1 took the same coloring. Okay, when I change the main background color, you will see the main background changes as well as the H1 also has a different background color. Okay, so not all the properties are inherited by parents. So some of them are inherited, some of them are not, and there's no honestly guide to see which properties are inherited or not. But you'll notice it by timing. One of the properties that are not inherited is the width and height and stuff like that. So let's try this. If I set the width of my main to be 50%, okay? We discussed this in later sessions, but I will say it quickly again. 50% here, it will take 50% of the width of its parent. So the parent of the main is the body. So if the body taking 100% of width, the main will take only 50%. When I save, you'll see here taking 50% of the width, okay, of its parent, of course, okay. Actually, you can use many units. We used here the percentage. You can use pixels. You see different. You can use many v width and v height. You can see many CSS units, but I will here, just for simplicity, I will use the percentage. I think it's more clear. Okay, so the thing here is the H1 here didn't, each one here took this rule and it already has a background color of gray, but it didn't take the width of 50%. It's still 100% because the width is not inherited. Let me prove that here. Okay, so if I set the background color for the each one, okay, make it different so that you can see it. Yeah, let's make it white. Okay, yeah, and make you'll see here this all my division taking 100% of my main. We set the percent here is for the parent, so it actually didn't take this rule in here. If I add this rule here width and set it to 50%, you'll see here the change. Okay, that this only 50%. So that's a proof that the width already was 100%. Okay, it didn't inherit the width property from its parent. Okay, so the width here you have to set it by your own. So it's a really powerful concept that you have to know about, because it will make for you to inherit some properties. You don't have to write them over and over again. So is that clear for you guys? Should I do more examples, or it's good so far? Okay, clear. Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we discussed styling rules. When we set the background color and change the color, we set the cascading rules. When I do another property down here, which one will win? We said the last one will win, of course. We discussed the specificity, about what's specific. We have tags. We have more specific, that is class names. We have more specific than class names, IDs. Okay, I will discuss them, yeah, no problem. But we discussed the specificity, and now we discussed inheritance, and we saw that some properties are inherited, some are not, and we have to keep in mind what they are doing. Okay, so let's now discuss something. Yeah, so as you notice here, I'm doing the styling where inside my style tag, okay, this tag here, okay, it's doing the styling for me, okay, and there are multiple ways so that you can style your elements. Okay, so the first one, as you notice here, inside the heading tag, or the head tag, sorry, we'll use the style tag and we style whatever we want. Okay, another way to style, another way to style, yeah, it's the inline styling. If I go inside the starting tag of the H1, okay, let's make it division. Okay, so say for example hello. Save. Okay. You remove the main as well. Yeah, let's remove the main. I'm trying to make the screen as simple as possible so that you don't bother with multiple things at once. So we have here our division with hello. Okay, so we can do styling other than this. We can use it here inside the element tag using the style attribute. Okay, so you write style equal and open quotes. Okay, and you can put the rules that you want. So if I want to change the color, I write color. Okay, here Visual Studio Code is helping me, so it's really great. Make it blue. Let me save. You'll see here it's working as well. Okay, but this way it's really not practical. You will use it in some but it's not often. You will not use it as often as the styling type, for example, or the third way that I will discuss. So here, this is actually working, but let's see if I take the same styling, okay, and remove this one, okay, and I put the same thing here. So I write division, okay, and I put the same rule. You'll see here nothing changed because it's the same rule, it's already applying to it. And this rule is much better than this because it will provide you with some flexibility so that if you add many divisions, it will edit every division in your page. So when I save this, you'll see here it's already applied with color blue. So it's great. But if you write inline style, apply only to this element here. Okay, so let's set the color, make it this color, for example. You'll see here only this element is styling because the inline styling only works for the whether this styling method is actually styling every division in your page. Okay, so it's more faster, so that the inline styling it will make the browser load the styling every time it goes here and render this line and the other line and the other line. It will make your website really slow. So that's much more faster. And another thing that we said, it will apply the changes to every, for example, every division in your web page, each one in my page. So I said, for example, each one in my page, I want to add border, for example. Let me make it anything. So make the color for border, make it 777. Okay. Okay, so what I'm saying, if you have multiple division, it's better to give them class names. Okay, it's depend in your use case. So the class names here is actually working if you want to apply some elements, apply some changes to multiple elements. So if for example, if I have many H1s or many H2s, for example, in my page, okay, let's add some H2s, okay, and make a title, for example. Let me save. You will see here every H2 that I add, it will take the same styling, okay, because we used here the tag name. So so this one point I finished. So the styling method is working with every element in your page. Okay, so let's go to the point that I'm saying. So you can do it. Give the divisions class names so that you can make them unique, and you don't have to make this a change to every division. So maybe you want to apply this to all divisions, but some of them they are unique, so you give them a unique class name. Okay, let's make them, for example, main divisions that has So here every main division, and you can use here dot main div. Make sure that you copy the same mean and apply whatever changes you want here. Okay, 1 pixel solid, change the color, for example, it will be applied. Some we use it, for example, if I have multiple headings, for example, and some of them are normal headings and some of them are main headings for a topic, for example. So the main headings I tend to have different styling than the normal headings. So I make them, for example, class heading, for example, and edit them as much as I want. So yeah, the class names are really. If I answered your question, Moran, but that's a general use case. One of the many use cases that you can use in class names. One last thing, the most thing that benefit me, how to use class names, how to use this now, when to use it, where to use it, is actually watching or bringing real projects that are made and see the structure, study the structure, for example, some code and see how they are working. So I saw, for example, that he using the class names for this specific purpose, and it was great. So yeah, this if you want to go through many use cases, you can simply watch other pre-made projects. Okay, so now we finished what? I forgot. Yeah, we were talking about the location of the CSS. Yeah. So we discussed that we can do them in the starting tag using inline styling. We can use them in styling here, but actually this way has a setback also. It's what? Yeah, it's much also slower than yeah. So every time if you have many, it will appear if you have many web pages to your system or your website. Okay. So if every web page has, oh my god, wait a minute, guys. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. What I was saying, yeah, this setback will appear when you have multiple web pages, and every web page has the style tag. So every time the browser render your web page, it will load this styling over and over again. So every web page you have in your website. So one solution you can use is create a separate style sheet. Okay, so name it everything. Okay, style, but make sure the extension is called CSS. Okay, and we have here a style sheet here that's only for adding our styles. Okay, and I can use it. Take for example this rule here. Okay, and put it here. Okay. So now when I save, you'll see nothing changed. Why? Because one important step we forgot is adding a reference to this style sheet in my HTML. So the HTML knows that this style sheet I want to apply it to this file. So how we do that? We go in the heading, the head, the tag, and use the link tag here. You'll see here, Visual Studio Code is helping me putting the relationship is this one is a style sheet for this document, and you can write the H reference here. So style with CSS. This is my file. When I save, you'll see here the change now applies. Why? Because I make a reference to this in this document to my style sheet, and this way is actually working really good. Why? Because you can use this reference in your all your web pages without using here the styling tag. And the benefit here is that the browser will render the link only once, okay, because it's already referenced in all your web pages. So whenever you load this page, already this style sheet already rendered one time all your web pages. So it's really much faster. So this the best solution. If best solution for what? Also the other ones are important in some use cases, but this important mostly when you have same styling in many web pages. So you don't want to type them over and over again in every web page. So you write the general styling in one style sheet here, okay, and yeah, you can use here, of course, you can use the style tag here. Okay, style tag to add only some unique styles to only this web page. If this web page has unique styles, for example, okay, you can use the styling tag to add them. But other than that, it's better to use a different style sheet. It will make everything faster, okay? And if we have multiple HTML files here, you can simply reference the style sheet by using this code. So again, link, tag, and inside the tag, you specify the relationship of this style sheet, whether it's a styling sheet or maybe there's another relationships, we can discuss them. But now you use the style sheet to indicate that this document here is a style sheet to this file. So the browser knows, or the document knows, how to deal with the style.css. And you got the h reference, or the reference of your sheet inside an attribute called href. Okay, so it's as simple as that. Okay, so yeah, I have a really interesting idea, but let me ask again, is that clear for you guys? The different positions in different locations of styling? Okay, great. Okay, thank you, Maruf, for your feedback. Okay, so all clear? Yes, clear. Okay, thank you. Okay, so now, what do you guys think now? If I go here in the style tag and use the same thing, this one, for example. Okay, oops. Okay, let me add this, no problem. Okay, I made a rule. Okay, I want to change the color of my division and make it, yeah. Okay, what do you think will happen? The browser will apply the gray color to my division here, or it will apply the blue color in my CSS file. Okay, let me save and see. Okay, you will see here that this rule that wins. Really weird, right? No, it's not weird. Okay, so we said that before. Okay, this one has the most priority over this one. Every time about it, yeah, it's more specific. I think more about it. Whatever is closer to your code is the always wins. Yeah, this is a different style sheet. So this will be applied, and whatever inside my style tag here will overwrite whatever the same is here. HTML is lazy. Yeah, yeah. So the most priority is this style tag over another style sheet. Okay, so let me try another thing. Here, use inline styling, and I want to set the same thing. For example, let me change the color. Yeah, let me make it pink, for example. Maybe red. Yeah. What do you think when I save will happen? Should this rule wins, or the style tag, or the inline styling? Okay, will be red. Okay. Okay, let's save and see. Okay, it's actually being red. So the inline styling is more specific, has most priority because it's inside the tag itself. So it will overwrite everything. This has the second priority, and the style sheet has the last priority. Okay, but as we said, has its benefits and some use cases to use. So for example, we use this only if I want only to make this division different from other divisions in my web That's only thing that I can think about it. Maybe you can try to search about some uses for this, but actually other than that, it's much slower, as we said. Okay, so I just wanted to say that different way of styling how they're working, different locations, which one is the most specific, has more priority to the element. So yeah, well, inline style when over styling by ID. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so let me make it okay, so yeah, let's introduce the ID. Do you guys know, remember that we can add class names? Okay, and make this main, for example. Okay, let me just maximize this. Okay, so we use here the style attribute and we use the class attribute. Okay, let me experiment on the class name. If I style by the class name here, which one will win, the inline or the class name? Let's see. Okay, I want the color to be. So let's save and see what will happen. When I save, you will see here the inline styling wins over also the style attributes. The only time that the class will win if you are doing this rule, okay, inside here with a tag name. This is the only way the class, as we said, the class name has most specific than the tag name. Okay, but let's bring it back again. So it's back again. Yeah, let's try by using ID. It's already another. Let me bring this. Okay, we use instead of class name we use IDs. IDs are known as more specific. They are class names are specific, but they can be used in multiple elements. But ID is actually unique. So if you name this division main, you can't use the same main ID name to different elements. So this is the most specific again. Okay, so if how to style this, we said you how to style a class, you put a period and this in the class name, but actually using the ID names you use hash. So this tells the browser that I'm looking about ID names, okay, called main. Change the background to be blue. So I saved the now. Let's see the change. Okay, it's actually red again. Why? Because the inline styling has the most priority. Okay. Yeah. Okay, but if you are asking, for example, let me move this, and which one has more specific order? Division name, or my class name, or my ID. So we experimented on the tag name and the class name, and we already know that the class name will have more specificity to the element. Okay. Let's name this heading, for example. Okay. And use here heading. So that's this one, for example. You'll see here, this is by class name. So what if we added an ID, okay, and make it heading 1, for example. Okay, so this ID, I can't use it to another element. What if I use it here? Let me copy this and use hash and then paste. Okay, and now change the color to be brown, for example. You will see here the brown wins because the ID is more specific than the class name. You will see that because it's comes last. But let me just remove this, okay, and add it before the heading. You will see it will work every single time. It has the most priority, as you can see here. So as we know now, the priority here for the ID attribute, then the class name, then the heading tag itself. Okay. You see here, although it's last and I saved, but it doesn't work. Okay, so this is the order now. Does it make sense? Okay, great. Okay, so let me see. We are on time now. It's 10 p.m. and we already planning to finish at 10:30. So we have 30 minutes. So let me explain selectors. It's really good. Just introduction to selectors, and explain how to use selector. If you don't know them, I'll explain it from the beginning. So don't worry. Okay. So yeah, let me and add another HTML file. I will call it selectors. HTML. Now I have different file called selectors. Yeah. So let me take the same thing here. Copy, paste, save. Let me remove the index to HTML. So yeah, remove this. Okay. So let's remove the link. We don't need it now. So only to focus on. We have a body tag and we have a heading tag. Okay, we have a style tag inside the head, but we'll not use it now. Let's make a structure so that I can explain what I want to explain. Okay, so let's now add, for example, a heading 1. Okay, and name it file. It's intro to CSS. Okay. I didn't run it live. Open with live server. You'll see here intro to CSS. Let me bring it to reset. Okay. Okay. Now I want in my body, I want a paragraph. So how to add a paragraph? Use the v tag. Okay. I'm just trying to work with many tags as I can so that you can know specific things about them. So this tag is actually telling the browser that whatever I include inside the v tag, it will be formatted in a paragraph format. Okay. So as you can see here, this one is treated as a heading 1, so that you see it bold, has a text font size bigger because it's in each one. Okay, it's a heading. This is a normal text. Okay, so for example, I want to say this. Okay, so these tutorials, for example, teach you CSS. Okay, and I will use div. Okay, don't worry, I will explain what I will write now. Okay, it's actually yeah. Let me bring it. I wrote it before. So now I created a division. Okay. I name it tutorial. I give it a class called tutorial and ID called tutorial 1. I want, for example, a tutorial 2, for example. So I'll just copy it and change the ID name. I change here the paragraph and save. You will see here now I have an intro to CSS with some tutorials. So these tutorials teach you CSS. There's tutorial here to begin with tutorial 1 and continue. Here to continue with tutorial 2, let me change to tutorial 2. Okay, and yeah, let me make it smaller, for example. Okay, so don't bother with the HTML now. I want guys to focus more on the styling that we will do. Okay, because I will introduce the selectors. We already set some selectors before. We discussed how to how to style an element with its tag name, how to style it with its name, how to style it with ID names. Also, there is another selector called attribute selector. You can apply changes to certain elements by their attributes. So what I mean by attribute is something like this. An attribute is something like this. So an attribute is a value inside my starting tag of the element. Okay. So let's make it slow one by one. So yeah, let's try to express this image here. This 150, this one here. Okay. So I'll go to my style markup and use the tag name. For example, I want to edit by my tag name. I copy it and paste and open my curly brackets. I want to give it an border. Okay, make it solid. Pixels. And make the color, for example, yeah, make it gray, for example. You'll see here. You see the change. Actually, both my images took the same styling because I used the image tag. You'll see here this an image tag, this is an image tag. So every image tag it will enter in my document, it will take the same styling. Okay. So what if you want to be to edit something but make it more specific? I don't want all the images. I don't all the divisions. So if I want, for example, to edit some things by class names, okay? So how I use class name? I take the class name and just put dot and paste the class name that you want. So if I want to just edit everything that has tutorial class name, okay, and make again border to be on pixel, the color, and make it solid, okay, and save. You'll see here now every tutorial class name is taking the border. So let's see where is the tutorial class name. This one in my phone. So you'll see here my first division here. It's this one here. This one here. It includes a heading, tutorial 1, and an image. I forgot to tell you guys. An image here. You'll see here the image here, and you will see a paragraph. And you see here a paragraph. So every division, I have two divisions. This is the first one, and this is the second one. Every division has these three items here. Okay, so they are sharing the same tutorial class name. So that's why they are both taking the border, as we said. But what if I want to only edit tutorial 1, not tutorial 2? We use here the ID name because, as we said, it's more unique. So there's only one ID name for this, and you can't make it to multiple elements. So you'll see here this ID name called tutorial 1 and this 2. So if I want to edit this division only, I will use its ID name. Okay, and how to use the ID names? Guys, if you remember, instead of the dot, what should I place before the ID name? Okay, correct. The hash. Really fast, Mara. Okay, so I take the ID name that I want and place it here. When I save, you will see now only tutorial 1, the border. Okay. So now this is called selector. When I use the image tag, it's called tag selector. When I use the class name, it's called class selector. When I use the ID name, it's called ID selector, as here. Okay, so what if I want to use the last thing that I said? Yeah, it's attribute selector. So I want only to edit this image. Okay, not both images. I simply can use it by the attribute. So how I do that is I write the tag name first. Okay, but I don't want all the images. Okay, I don't want all the images. So I do open these squares. So this indicates that you are looking for an image with a specific attribute. So I'll take this attribute here. Okay, copy and paste. Okay, so the attribute that I want to use is the SRC. Okay, so whatever you encounter an image, I'm telling the browser now, whatever image that you encounter that has this source in it, okay, I want to only to apply the changes inside of it. If I make a border for it specifically, make it, for example, 3 pixels, solid and light blue, you'll see here now only this image is taking the styling because I used the attribute selector. So again, how to use it? Tag name, then open square brackets, and what attribute that you want to style with. Okay, sounds clear, guys? Okay, great. Okay, I will ask you again. You better ask anything if you want. Okay. Okay. So let me give you another example. Okay, so now we learned everything, how to edit or style every element in my page. We learned how to edit them individually. Let's now see how I edit multiple elements in the same line. Okay? So for example, let's example, I want to edit the H1s and H2s in my page. So how I do that? I write by tag name, same thing as we did, but by using separating comma. So you are telling the browser that I want to apply the styles to every H1 and H2 in my page. Okay, so if we make the color again, same thing, F. Okay, you will see here both H1s, this H1, and every H2 will take the same color because we use this separator. Okay, so for example, it works also with what? Yeah, with class names. Okay, if you want, for example, to edit tutorial, let me copy it so that I don't split it. Okay, so I want to edit the tutorial. Okay, and let me move this so that. Okay, I want to edit the tutorial. I give it a border as we did before. Okay. I give the tutorial border now. But what if I want to add border to another elements like H1, for example? I use a comma and put many elements as you want. Okay, and save. You'll see here H1 is taking thing. You can use another comma and add H2 and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's called list selector. So I'm making list of selectors, multiple selectors, different selectors, and do this one styling to all of them. So you don't repeat the styling each time. You just put a comma between them and use their common styling, and that's it. Really, and another thing, yeah, I think it's good so far. So now, it's clear for you guys whatever we did so far in the selectors again. So when we repeat, it's more clear. So if I want to edit all images in my web page, which keyword that I use here? My styling. If I want to style every image, yeah, these images. If I want to edit these images too in my web page, which, yes, image tag name. That's correct. Okay, so I use image and for example, yeah, let's make borders for now. 1 pixel, solid, and okay, so now I edited all the images in my page. Okay, so now the second question is, what if I want to edit everything that has tutorial class name. Which keyword here that I want to use? If I want to edit these two divisions by their class names, should I use division tag? Obviously, we'll use the class name, but how we write this? Okay, dot tutorial, correct. Okay, great. Copy and dot tutorial. So now, if we take the same border stuff and save, you see here also the tutorials talk styling. Next question. If I want only to, should I use its tag name, its class name, or its ID name? ID, really great. So how I use the ID? I put hash and the ID is copied. Copy and save. Okay. So now, yeah, let's make the same, but change the color. Okay, so the color here, one thing, you can, if you don't memorize the hexadecimal numbers of the color, you can, using just the code, you can hover over the color and choose any color you want. Okay. So yeah, and when I save, you will see here. Can we just type gray? Yeah, you can type gray. So there are multiple ways. Okay. Yeah. 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 You can use the RGB. This one, red, green, and blue. And you also can use red, green, and blue, or you can use hexadecimal numbers inside. So if I want red, the hexadecimal number is F00. You see here it's red. You can use this banner here. You can use, as you said, just the name. So if I want the border to be blue, I simply put blue, and you'll see here work, as you can see the blue here. If I increase the pixels, make it, for example, 2 pixels, you'll see it more good. So you can use it with hexadecimal numbers or by using this panel here. How? By hovering over the color. Yeah, and there's even more ways. Okay, so there's also the RGB and RGBA and stuff like that. Okay, so yeah, that's the way it works. Okay, but what we are saying, yeah, using the ID, we only edit the tutorial one, not both tutorials as the class name. Okay, so this is how we use the tag name, class name, and ID using the hash before the ID name. Okay, and last thing we discussed is the attribute selector. If I want to edit this image, okay, it's only this image. And I don't have class thing, I have their source. So I use it by the image tag, okay, and open square brackets and type the attribute that you want. Okay. These two, and put the reference that you want. So this reference I want, maybe I want to edit this one this time. So I'll edit the small one that has 100 width. What should be brackets or brackets, sorry, and apply a border to it. Okay. I want to change the make it more light. Okay. Let me save. You'll see here now it's taking only this image, not this image. Okay. And if I want to edit the other image, I put its correct source and it will be applied to this image only. So we discussed tag selector, class selector, ID selectors, and attribute selector. Yeah, it's nice. Okay, you mean the colors, okay. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it's now 10:20. We have minutes. So yeah, one thing, it's really important in CSS. I'll discuss it really and leave the floor to you guys if you have any questions. So if I write index, I have already index.html, so let's open that. Okay, and remove everything now. Okay. Yeah, let's make the same division. Okay. And hello world, for example. Let me save and go back to my code. You will see here my hello world. Okay, it has the coloring for style sheet, so I'll remove that. Save. Okay, now if I want to edit this division, okay, and give it a border, or yeah, give it a border. Okay, 1 pixel and solid. Solid here is the type of the border. Types. So there's hashed, there's dot, and there are a lot more. So solid is the thing that you see is the solid border, and identify the color. So let's say the color I want black, for example. Okay, when I save, you'll see here it's taking the border. Now we can use also the width. Okay, I want only the width of this division to be 100 pixels, for example. You see the change here. So this division here is taking 100 pixels rather than the whole screen. Okay. Why in the first place the division took the full screen? Because the division by its default is a block type element. Okay. So we discussed before block and inline elements. So let me explain this because it's really important. Okay, so if I lower it to 100 pixels, okay. So yeah, we discussed the block and inline elements and the difference between them, but simply we use the display property to identify whether if I want to change the division to be inline, for example. Okay, so I can use the display property. When I save, you'll see here the change now. The border is collapsed, yani it doesn't take 100 pixels. So why? Because now the browser is ignoring the width property. Okay, so that indicates that the inline elements, you can't edit their width property or use any positioning. So if you'll see nothing changed, but if I change this to block, you'll see here now I can edit the width as I want. Okay. So the block elements, you can use it to control the width of an element, for example. Okay, so yeah, and we use inline elements if we don't want the division, for example, to take the full width. I want it only to be inline, so that I can include some elements next to it. So I use inline. But the actual problem here is I can't control its width. If I write here the width, for example, 100 pixels again, we'll see here nothing changes. So in this case, if you want, you can use inline block value. So you get the best out of the two worlds. So it's not taking the full width, so it's reacting as an inline element, but actually you can edit its width. So if you set it to 150, for example, you'll see here now it's an element, and we can use the width property and control its width and many elements as well. Even if you add the width tag before the display inline, yeah, of course. So here, you'll see here if I remove this width and put it here, you'll see here nothing changes. So yeah, I didn't explain that. So everything inside here, the order doesn't matter. Okay, the order matters if I do another thing here. division, for example, same division, and it changed border color, for example. Let's make it red. Let's see. The last one on will. Obviously, if they are by tag names, if by class names, another story. Okay, so yeah, the order name or the orders of the properties doesn't make a difference really. Okay, so now if I want to make the width 150, I use block and to work. Okay, cool. Okay, so now guys, I finished everything. Yeah, that you have to keep in mind if you are starting using CSS, and these are the most important. Obviously, there are more, but we can maybe, if you want, make projects together and discuss, for example, everything that we discussed in the HTML fundamentals and CSS fundamentals, and see new things even, and try to do some creative work. So yeah, that's just the important thing is you focus on the fundamentals. If you know the fundamentals really good, you will now understand everything that we do when we create programs together. Okay, so thank you guys. I finished the session today. Okay, and yeah, it's really easy. So let me show you, Mara. Okay, so let me open another file. Okay. Okay, we bus sessions together. If you guys attended, we did all of these files together. This one that we did today, it's intro to CSS. Portfolio, we did, for example, our first project, if you remember. So let's open our first, let's open DSC altogether. So let's see everything. Okay, so now let's see our portfolio, for example. Okay, let me make 4. Okay, so you can see the code. Okay, so we did some sections, hero section, and we did about me section. So let me run it so you can see it more clear. Yeah, it's here. Where is it? Okay, it's not working. Let me show you now. Okay, it's projects. DC portfolio, just open portfolio please, and let's run this. Not live server. So now, as you can see here, I don't know why everything is big. Yeah, because I made this. Okay. Okay. So yeah, let me show you now. We did a portfolio. Okay. Section that you introduce yourself, for example, and about me section. Okay, so my link section, latest projects that you display your projects and contact us for. And we did some animations as well, and we did the dot bar is also moving with you, and it's working really great with the smooth animations. Okay, and we did, when you go up, the navigation bar becomes transparent. So we used HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, it was really advanced, but it was easy. We recorded the sessions if you want to watch them, and we can make other ideas as well. Yeah, I made another thing. We made it responsive. So notice here the navigation bar. It's now an icon. Okay, when it's in mobile phone size. When it's desktop size, is here. Okay, you'll see it here also. When I make it mobile phone size, you'll see here the image. I want it to be below the text, and I want the cards to be more responsive. Okay, so yeah, it was a great project. But according to your question, Moran, you can. This is not public now. You can't see it now. But we, in the future, we can learn how to deploy them and make them public to everyone. So yeah, that's a great idea actually. So after we finish Web Wednesday series, we will do. We can host them on GitHub. We will learn how to use GitHub and host all our projects that we did inside the GitHub repository and host them, deploy them, and you can all access it and use it to your project as well. So we'll learn that together. That's a great, really idea. Thank you, Mona. Okay, share the link of the recordings. Yes, I will. That would be awesome. Okay. So actually, we did many others. So this project, I'm really proud of it. Okay. It was sign in and sign out. But actually, it works really well. I didn't expect it to work there. So it was a registration form, login, and stuff like that. If I want to sign up, it's in the same page. It will not go. So it will make a transition with some animations. Okay, it's in the same page using JavaScript. These animations. It's actually one function. Okay, so yeah, we can try to make other projects in the future and try to work through them again. No problem. It's also responsive. Okay, and it's mobile phone size. Okay, yeah, it was great. Okay. So yeah, now I uploaded the past sessions on YouTube, but actually I'm so lazy to upload the others. So I'll try to upload the sessions as much as I. Let me bring you the link, okay? And inside every video I will upload, I will include in the description the source code that we used. Session is recorded. I'll upload it on YouTube and provide you with the source code and etc. So and also I'll upload the slides. Yeah, I'll just give you the link. So let me end the recording. So thank you everybody. This session was great. I really liked that you stick around. Yeah, and see you in sessions as well. We'll do some projects together and build them step by step. And if it would take us 2 sessions, it's not problem. 3 sessions.